All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the hardware. So this is pretty interesting. So I think that the iPhone, it came out with the titanium design, and we're actually seeing that this is probably one of Apple's worst designs as far as durability. The back glass breaks really easy, and they marketed this titanium design a lot, and it's kind of a little bit of a bummer. So this is a phone that you 100% have to put a case on. The Pixel 8 Pro and the S23 Ultra are definitely more durable than the iPhone for sure. So I wanted to throw that out there this year. So the Pixel 8 Pro, S23, they're both glass and metal phones as well too. And all of these phones are IP68 dust and water resistant. So let's talk about some of the unique things here with the hardware. So the Pixel 8 Pro, it has a temperature sensor on it right here, which is a kind of bizarre thing, but it is there. You can monitor the temperature of yourself or objects, but I always thought that was kind of strange. What I like about each device is that they all have these really nice matte finishes as well too, and they don't pick up fingerprints and stuff like that, and they all look really good this year. Also, the unique thing about the S23 Ultra, and I think this is just Samsung is just way ahead of the game in terms of the pen software, is it does have a built-in S Pen on here, and it's really good, guys. I've seen people do digital artwork with this. You can create GIFs with this as well too. It is a really great pen. I use it kind of like making grocery lists just real quick. It's just really easy to just take it out and just start writing on it. But you have Smart Select. You can even write stuff in the search bar as well too, and it's really accurate with that. And even if you're like a content creator, because the pen is Bluetooth, you can just click the button right here and it'll take a photo, video from a distance. So it's really nifty. I actually really like the built-in S Pen. Very cool feature. As far as the iPhone goes, it's one kind of unique thing is the MagSafe on here. So you can attach MagSafe accessories on here, like a wallet and stuff like that. Now you can't get a MagSafe case for the S23. I'm not sure about the Pixel yet, but you do have those that you can put a case on it and get the MagSafe. But this has the MagSafe on it, and it's very cool. So you can attach those accessories on there as well too. And the iPhone does have USB Type-C now as well too. Let's talk about displays this year. The displays are fantastic on these devices this year. So I think that the S23 has the best display. It just looks fantastic, and fun fact, Samsung pretty much makes the displays on the other phones as well too. But just the way they designed the display, it looks like just like a mini TV, and I just really like it. It's got these very nice slim bezels on here, and then it has just a medium or like a minimal curve on here, and that's the display. I think it's just an awesome display. Now with the other devices, they went completely flat, which I feel like the curved display gives it kind of like a premium look to it, a more, I guess, luxurious look, but it's something that I absolutely love here. So one cool thing with the Pixel that I noticed is that it's one of the brightest displays that you can get right now. Well, I think there's one Apple phone that's brighter, but it has a 2400 nits peak brightness, so that's kind of the cool thing with this one as well too. And then the iPhone has a very bright display as well too at 2000 nits. All of them are pretty bright in direct sunlight. You won't really struggle with viewing. But as you can see, I just think the Samsung panel looks a lot better. Apple has the dynamic island on here, which can be cool at, sometimes you can interact with certain applications and stuff like that, but a ton of applications don't really support it. They're all basically 1440p displays, very high PPI displays, all 120 hertz, OLED, all that good stuff. So, they have a lot going on when it comes to the specifications of the display. But like I said, as far as the viewing goes, I think Samsung just has a really nice looking panel on here. All right, so let's talk about the overall speed on these devices here. So they're all flagship devices, so they're all very fast. As you can see, the iPhone pretty much with the the best scores here, and yeah, they're all pretty fast for the average person. You really won't notice too much of a difference if you're just scrolling and opening up applications, animations. Everything looks really smooth on these devices. When it comes to gaming and stuff like that, I do think that I personally think the S23 is just the best gaming experience out the three. It just seems to not get as hot, in my opinion. But as far as the speed goes, if we just got into like a little speed test here, you can see, and I guess we'll do, since the iPhone has the best score here, just to show you guys. So even if we do it with the Pixel, you can see it's still pretty much on par. So even if you open up like more intensive applications, then you'll start to see that difference for sure, maybe. But for me, just using these phones, guys, I'm really not seeing like a massive difference in terms of, you know, daily use. I think the average person. Now, I did notice the iPhone does get into games a lot faster than these two phones, but like I said, guys, it's not like a massive difference when it comes to speed. Like I said, scrolling still very smooth, animations. So they're all pretty similar, I think, for the average person. You will, no, that was already open. But you will notice that, you know, they all kind of feel the same when it comes to speed and stuff like that. Now, when we get into a game like PUBG, and like I said, I think the experience on the Galaxy, just because of the screen, and I just feel like this phone does not really heat up like that. And it's just, but they all do a very smooth job at playing video games, stuff like that. You see we got PUBG 90 frames, super smooth on all of these. Now, Apple claimed, and I haven't been able to check that out yet, but this phone can supposedly play console games. They showed off the Resident Evil thing, which, and again, how many people are going to play actual console games on their phone is, you know, that's something up for debate, right? But they said that this phone can do that. And my issue is this phone has not gotten as hot as it when it first came out. It had got a software update to help with it, but for now it's pretty cool as well. But you know, just with the dynamic island, it's not like my favorite phone to go to for gaming because of the, you know, it just has a bigger punch hole on it. And the Pixel here, it might actually get the 90 frames for PUBG. It took a minute for these two to get it, but this phone does a pretty good job too. It's not really heating up and stuff like that. So I think for the average person, you won't really notice too much of a difference when it comes to performance. Even if you're doing some like heavy multitasking and bouncing in and out of applications, you're not going to notice that big of a difference for the average person. Like if you are more intense when it comes to gaming, you probably want to go with the iPhone or the Galaxy. Each phone has stereo speakers. Let's go ahead and hear them side by side, starting with the Galaxy. Yeah, the iPhone is definitely a little bit louder than the S23. I can feel the vibrations way harder on the table from the iPhone. Alright, so the speakers on all three of these phones sound really good. It sounds like the iPhone has probably the hardest hitting bass on these on the speakers. I think for overall sound, I do really like the S23. It has a little bit more detail to the mids and highs and stuff like that. But I think the overall most balanced speaker is probably the Pixel 8 Pro. It's almost just as loud and as stumpy as the iPhone, but it also has just a really good balance to the sound. But you can't really go wrong with either of these speakers. They're all really good speakers. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the fingerprint sensor. This is where Samsung pretty much takes the win here. It has the ultrasonic fingerprint sensor, and then it also has face unlock. It's much faster than the Pixel's optical fingerprint sensor. The Pixel does have really good face unlock. You can actually use it now for banking apps and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. But the optical, like I said, it's not as fast as the ultrasonic one. And then the iPhone has, you know, the most secure face unlock with Face ID on here as well too, and it works very well. But unfortunately, it's only gives you one method to be able to do that. So I do want to point out some cool stuff. The Pixel, for what we know right now, has the longest software. So the longest software lifespan. So this has 7 years of major OS updates with this phone. And that's from Google themselves, so that's pretty cool. And I think that's even more than the iPhone. I think the iPhone gets somewhere around 6 years of updates. And then you also have on the S23, you have 4 years of major OS updates, and then you also get security patches after that as well too. But the Pixel, from what it's looking like, it is going to have the longest lifespan, so you can keep this phone for a very long time and get the major OS updates, which is pretty cool. We know with the Pixel you get a really smooth operating system here, just really smooth animation wise. It's, you know, bare Android. There's not a ton of stuff going on as far as additional features and stuff like that. But yeah, a lot of people like it, and like I said, you get updates really fast. That's the thing about Pixel. When the next Android 15 comes out, you'll get the beta. With the iPhone, you pretty much know what you're getting. A lot of people like these phones for iMessage, FaceTime, stuff like that. Also, iOS updates are pretty fast as well too. What's cool about the Galaxy phones is that not only it comes with a ton of software stuff like Samsung desktop support as well too, which is really cool. And then also these Galaxy phones have good locks, so you just get a ton of customization with the Galaxy phones. So it's just really easy to customize these phones and get them to look how you want them to look. And I think just it's really great for power users. You have the S Pen software, so I think this is one of the best kind of like power user phones as well too. So I want to touch on what each phone does really well as far as cameras, because they all take great photos. Like, they're flagship phones, they're all going to take great photos. But the Galaxy does have really great zooming quality. You have 100 times zoom on here. It takes really great 10 times, 30 times zoom on here. And the colors and everything are just really nice. You have a macro mode on here. And what's really nice about the Galaxy phones is that you have the Expert RAW, and you also have Pro Video on here as well too. So you can really take advantage of, you know, all that good stuff. So that's what I really like. And then you also have the 200 megapixels. So that's kind of what makes it really unique. In my opinion, it's just a really well balanced camera, phone. So the iPhone, I think, you know, they don't have a Pro Res mode on here, or they have a Pro Res mode, but they don't have a Pro Video mode where you can mess with the ISO and all that good stuff. But the iPhone, it takes really great video in my opinion, some of the best video, just really natural looking. I'm not a huge fan of the iPhone stills actually, especially when it comes to skin tones and stuff like that. But in general, you get really great shots. You have the RAW Max on here as well too. And you have a macro mode. This year's iPhone does 5 times optical zoom, 25 times, for the max zoom, and it takes great shots. So, you know, I think it's fantastic for that. And like I said, it takes fantastic video. Can't hate on it at all. You guys know I'm a big fan of the Pixel phones, and I still think it takes some of the best stills that you can get pretty much in any phone. I just really love how it does when it comes to skin tone and stuff like that. It always gets my skin tone, almost accurate, and definitely way more accurate than the Galaxy and the iPhone. Low light photography is pretty good as well too, but Google has a lot of software magic that they do in here. Being able to not only do like the magic eraser stuff, but the Galaxy can do that as well too, but being able to like move stuff, objects and stuff, it's just a really, really cool thing. You can unblur stuff, and then like I said, you have the magic eraser and stuff like that. And it honestly has kind of like a little Photoshop built into the editor application as well too. I think Google is definitely getting better with the video. I don't think it's better than the Samsung or iPhone, but it's getting there. You guys know I use it for my shorts that I do. It also needs a where is it at? It also does not have a really a pro mode on here. But I think this phone takes the best steals out of all of these phones in my opinion. Now, I think what's really cool about the smartphones this year is that battery life is really, really good actually on all three of these phones. They actually have fantastic battery life. I am getting better battery life on my S23 Ultra. It has better standby time as well too than the iPhone and the Pixel. But as far as screen on time, all of these phones can go for about like a day and a half battery life. And one cool thing about the S23 is that it charges much faster at 45 watts. Which is pretty nice. These charge a little bit slower, but again, not like a huge deal. They all have wireless charging. The Pixel and the Galaxy have reverse wireless charging as well too, which is really nice. So overall, this year I've been pretty impressed with these phones here. I think it comes down to just little small things. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.